Good day to you over there. It's Dr. Tolu Ajibade here again with another video. Thank you very much for clicking on this video. I can assure you you've made the right choice. So, in today's video, we'll be talking about how to register for the MDCN licensing examination, detailing steps on the registration, required documents, price estimates, and the likes. My hope is that this video remains very short while keeping it really detailed, so you can get as much information as you want in the shortest possible time. Okay, so without further ado, let's get into this video. Yeah, so the basic reason why I decided to make this video is because I've got a lot of questions about, oh, how do I really register for this MDCN exam? It's really difficult knowing all the steps and all the processes in registering for this examination, and I could really relate with that because when it was my turn to do it, I asked a lot of questions from several people, and it was really difficult. It was really difficult sifting data. It was really difficult getting information needed for a smooth and fluid registration of this examination, because it actually contains several detailed steps that have to be done at particular times, specific times, and not just at a point or not just on the website where you just do everything and you're done with it. Okay, so we'll be talking about all of this and trying to make it as simplified as possible for you to understand. Okay, now there are some steps you should take before leaving your country of study, because as we know, the MDCN licensing exam is basically for medical and dental graduates from foreign universities. So that's foreign trained medical and dental graduates. So if you fall in this category, if you fall in this bracket of candidates, then this is an exam that's blanket for everybody. You have to do it in order to be able to move on with your medical careers, to be able to do your internship here in Nigeria, which is like a very defining part of our careers. Okay, so moving on, let's get to the some of the details. So I mentioned that there are some steps you take before you leave your country of study, and there's some you take subsequently. That's maybe after leaving your country of study, after getting back to Nigeria. Okay, so let's look at the first step you should take here before leaving your country of study. Is as you can see, this is a medical certificate. Okay, a diploma is medical certificate. So you should get your diploma, your medical certificate. That could seem like an obvious step to take here, but why I put this out there is because some people believe that uh, you can use maybe a transcript or something. And also, it's not just about getting your medical certificate, but getting all the appropriate stamps and notarizations. If you look at your medical certificate, there are so many stamps you take from different offices in your country of study. There's some you get from the Ministry of Education, some you get from the Ministry of Health, some you get from the embassy of your country in that particular country. So just know what's appropriate for your country of study and get that done. Okay, you don't want to get back to Nigeria and then realize, oh, I didn't get this stamp, I didn't get this other stamp. Okay, so make sure you do all of that before leaving. Now, the next step you should take in this process is informing your university, informing your institution about a verification mail. So now, what is this verification mail? It's a mail that is going to be received by your university in a few weeks when you start the EPIC process. Okay, so what is the EPIC process? It's a process of verifying foreign diplomas by the Nigerian government. So it's a body that actually helps in verification of documents. It's under the ECFMG, which does the verification of documents for the USMLE steps. Okay, so but for Nigeria, they've used the EPIC system, which actually does uh, verify diplomas for we that studied abroad. Okay, and what happens is when you start the process, the eventual part of the process is EPIC sending your university a mail asking if you really graduated from this university and confirming your identity and your diplomas. Okay, so what your school is supposed to do is to send a verification mail to EPIC. Okay, so some schools have a system already set up, or if it's a new school, they still should have a system set up, but they may not be very conversant with how it really works. Okay, so it's your duty to actually get to them. Okay, make them understand who is going to be getting this mail. be sure of who is going to get the mail and tell them what to do after the mail. Tell them it's important they respond promptly to these mails, because sometimes some of these officials could be really remiss with their duties. So you wanna keep them on their toes and tell them, okay, this is the time frame in which I will need this verification, okay? And then sometimes some universities will require you paying for the verification process, okay? That's aside the payment you've made on Epic. So, for example, my university required a payment. It was just a few dollars. It was about maybe $30 or so. So you pay this. It's better you pay it before you leave the country. Because during my time, I had left the country before I actually did my own Epic verification, and it's proved to be a little difficult and challenging because I had to call friends who were still there, call friends and say, please go help me meet this person. And that could be a burden on someone. And you don't want to be burdened. You don't want to be a burden on anybody. And what if you do not have any close friends there? Okay, so it's important you try to complete this yourself, because who else could you trust better than yourself? Okay, so that's the one thing. That's the second thing you should do. Okay, and then moving on to the another step you should take before leaving your country of study is something called the letter of eligibility to practice in your country of study. So there's something the MDCN is coming up with now. Over the past 2 years, thereabouts, they've been saying, okay, we want to be sure that you're not just being half baked in whatever country you study. They want to be sure that you are being baked even to practice in that country. Like the country you studied can trust you with their own patients and their own citizens. Okay, so they want a letter from your university proving, or from your ministry or the Ministry of Education or Ministry of Health of that particular country, proving that you can practice in that country. So I put a draft of the letter here, and this is not exactly how my own letter goes, but this is a good draft in case you are making. It's very similar to how my letter was formed, how my letter was written, and it could create a good draft for you to know what to expect from your school, so they don't just give you any random letter that won't work. Okay, so this is what you want it to look like. This is to certify that Dr. This is a citizen of the Federal Republic of Nigeria with passport number this, graduated from the medical University of these days, and he has successfully undergone his practical courses during the academic period according to the 6 years education program in English language, based on the requirements of the Ministry of Education in this country. It's also important that there is a list of a few courses. I don't know how important it is, but I feel it could give the letter some strength and some reinforcement. So a list of only of the critical courses you've taken and the hours you used, maybe 180 hours for social medicine, 120 hours for surgery, and things like that. Okay, then continuing the letter, it says during the sixth year of medical education, from this day to this day, he successfully completed the following clinical courses in general medicine, general surgery, pediatrics, obstetrics and gynecology, preventative medicine, and social medicine. On so, he was awarded a degree of physician with a doctor of medicine and is qualified to practice in so country and any other country of his choosing. Now, you see that part is in bold because that is what really matters, okay? And then it should be duly signed by the right official. Now, this isn't, like I said before, this isn't the fixed or a generic way of writing this letter, but it's a guide. You get what I'm saying? So that's it. So you should get this letter before you leave your country of study. Some people get two letters. There's another one that you could get for like emphasizing the fact that you studied in English language. If you did study in English language, okay, because that could come in handy when you try to practice later on. And then another step you should take. Now, this is after you've left your country of study. That's permissible. You don't have to be in your country of study to do this, okay? So, subsequent steps you should take are the EPIC registration. How do you do this? Now, the first thing you do is to establish an account with EPIC. So you establish an account with Epic. You go to Epic. You Google Epic on Google.com, and you get to the website. Establish an account. Then you confirm your identity. Now, when you establish an account and you upload your passport and passport photograph, it's the website generates a form called the Epic Identification Form. Now, this Epic Identification Form initially shows your picture and your passport, but it isn't notarized yet by any lawyer. So there is a signature. There is a space for a lawyer signature to confirm, and a stamp to confirm that you are this person. Okay. So now there are two. There's a way that Epic actually notarizes. It makes it easy for you to notarize. So how do they do this? They have partnered up with an online notary called NotaryCam, and what you gotta do is you select NotaryCam, and then in a few minutes or hours they call you, and then a video call. You need a working video camera and a good internet service. Okay, so they call you. Someone abroad calls you, and then you need to show up on the video call, making your face clear enough to be seen, and then holding your passport, your international passport, clear to the camera so the person can see it. So you hold the passport and then on a video call, and then that way they can confirm your identity. So that's the first step. And then when your identity is confirmed, they generate another Epic identification form for you that contains a stamp and a signature from that notary cam company. Okay. Now there is something that I need you to do here. Before you call the notary company, make sure you save the unnotarized EIF. That's the Epic identification form. Make sure you save it as a document in your computer or somewhere safe. Okay. Why do you need to do this? Because sometimes, even after doing the notary cam, notarization, MDCN, sometimes would ask you to give another notarized version of the EIF. Now, they want a domestic notarization. They're like, okay, we don't trust the international lawyers. We want one that is physical, that you really did here in Nigeria. So, in that case, you need to get this empty form I told you to save. You take this form to the nearest high court, or wherever you do your notary in Nigeria. You take it to the nearest high court, and then you tell them what you really need to do, and tell them this is the stamp, this is the place you need to get stamped, and this is the document, and then you pay for that, and then you have that. Okay. Now the reason why it has to be empty is because if there is already a notary signed on your form, the high court won't sign on it anymore, because it's like two lawyers on one document. It's kind of a conflict there. Okay. So the next thing you should do after doing your verification and confirmation of identity, not verification here, but confirmation of identity, is that you should then upload your credentials. So you upload your credentials. I think you upload one credential, and then you select MDCN as the recipient of your report. Now, after uploading your credential for verification, it takes a while to get a report. Now, you upload your credential, it takes some weeks. During this period, the EPIC is contacting your university, sending the mail we talked about earlier. So they contact your university, they send the mail, your university verifies. Once your university verifies this mail, it reflects on your Epic portal. Now, the portal is built in such a way that it's really informative. You could always get current information on how far your verification is going, and then uh, once it's verified, in a few days, maybe one day later, a report is sent to MDCN. Now, this has to be paid for. You pay for this at the point of uploading your credentials. Okay, so you pay for the credential upload, you pay for Epic identity confirmation. Okay, something else you should know is that sometimes, depending on the school, verification of your credentials could take a while. Sometimes it takes months if your school is really remiss in their duties, okay? So what you need to do is that what you should know is that what is needed for your MDCN examination registration is the EPIC identification form notarization, okay? That is what is needed for the exam. Now, to get your diploma, if I said diploma, to get your annual license or your provisional license, once you've passed the exam, then you need to, then at that point your result has to be verified already. If not, if your result isn't verified yet, you won't get a license from MDCN, and that could cause some delays. Okay, so that's one important thing to know. So try to make it as fast as possible so it doesn't delay your license procurement. Okay, and now I told you the confirmation of the identity, you pay for that. The verification of report, you pay for that as well. Now, another step you should take is the remitter payment. Remitter is a platform on which you get to pay for your exam. You don't pay to anybody. You don't get fleeced by anyone. You shouldn't pay directly hand to hand to anybody. You shouldn't pay at any office. You shouldn't pay on the MDCN website itself. What you should do is go to remitter.com and pay there. So how does this work? So what you need to do is go to google.com, you type in remitter, and you can see remitter, www.remitter.net. You click on that, and that takes you to the website of remitter. Now, this is where you make your payments. Now, what do you click on after this? You go to the federal government of Nigeria and click on that. Nigeria and TSA, because you're paying directly to the federal government. And then you see federal government of Nigeria. Click on that as well. And then let's see where that takes you to. So it takes you to this page where you have a few options. The ones starred red are the most important to be filled, okay? So what do you want to pay for? You click and type MDCN, no? MDCN? No? Okay, Medical and Dental Council, yes. You click on that part of it, and then you gotta select, like I mentioned, the starred ones, very important. So you click on the name of service and purpose under MDCNs because there are several services that can be paid for. So you click on the name of service there, and then you should search for assessment examination. Yeah, found it. Click on that, and then payer. Who is paying? That's the payer. Yeah, you type in your full name here. I guess you got to type this twice. Now, the first time here, you type Ajibade Tolulope favor, and then description, not necessary. I don't know what this is. Chief means code, no idea. Amounts to pay. Now, for this part, you need to type in the amount for your particular exam. Now, the amount we put on the MDCN website so you can be sure of what exactly you're paying, okay, how much exactly you're paying. Let's say 130,000 in my own case, okay? That's just a round figure. You don't have to pay the exact amount, okay? So pay what is on the website. So you type in the payer's name again, okay, full name again. So apart from payer, you also type in payer's name, full name again. And then after doing that, you type in the payer's phone number, payer's email address. You confirm the email address, okay? And then you select how you want to pay. So how do you want to pay? Is it via bank branch or online? You select online, and then you click on I'm not a robot. You submit, and then you continue the whole process. And then after you've done all of that, you get a receipt. Now this receipt contains your payer's information. It's sent to your mail. Okay, the mail you filled in the form on the Remitter website. Once you make the payment, a receipt is sent to your mail. And the most important of these details is your remitter retrieval reference. Okay, so this is what is used to retrieve your payment when it is being made. Okay, so what's next? You should compile all the needed documents. Now, what are the possible other needed documents? I am very certain that at the point of the exam, not at the point of the exam, when it's close to the examination, there will be news on the MDCN website. So always follow the recent news segment of the MDCN website. You'll get news on whatever extra documents are needed, detailed application process, even though it could be confusing sometimes. And then there will be a form on the website that you can download, the application form. So you download the application form, print print it out, and then fill it physically. So you fill all the needed parameters on the form, okay? And then you make photocopies of your country's study visa page. Now, of your country of studies visa page. Now, I believe if you studied abroad, you got an initial study visa. You should photocopy that, okay? And then you should also photocopy the stamp on your passport that showed your initial entry into the country, and if possible also your exit from the country, your eventual exit from the country. Okay, so make photocopies of these. I also photocopied my passport data page just to confirm my identity once more. Okay, so you attach all of that. You attach a passport sized photograph. I attached just one. I hope it remains the same. Anyways, it's always good to have a couple of passport photographs with you, okay? And then, like I mentioned earlier, visit the MDCN website regularly, okay, to stay abreast of current information. So what next? So this is just a summary. I believe this is the last part of the video. This is just a summary which says which like outlines the steps. So the first one here is a diploma with necessary stamps. Number two, inform your university of EPIC verification. Number three, get a letter of practice eligibility in your country of study. Then number four, you do the whole EPIC process. Number five, remitter payment. Number six, gather all needed documents as you found on the MDCN website. And number seven, you submit to the nearest MDCN office before the deadline. So the earlier the better. You don't want to be caught in a quandary when the deadline is really close. Okay, so you want to do it as quickly as possible. Now, I'm certain that there is an MDCN office in Lagos, Lagos Island, Victoria Island. Is it Victoria Island? VI, yes, Victoria Island. There's an MDCN office in Victoria Island. There is one MDCN office in Ilori. There is one MDCN office in I know Lagos VI, I know Ilori, I know Abuja, yeah. So I believe there should be some other ones in other parts of the country. There will be one in the east, one in the north. So you could just Google that on the website and see how that works out, okay? So thank you very much for watching this video. I wish you the very best in your exams. I hope your registration goes as smoothly as possible, and make sure you prepare well for your exam. So make sure you put out all the stops for this examination, making sure that you making sure that you crush it at first trial. Okay, thank you very much. And if this isn't a first trial, there is always room for improvement. Keep going at it, and I believe you will make a great doctor. Okay, don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Thank you very much. Have a lovely, lovely day. Make sure you subscribe to this channel. Leave a comment. Let's know what you're thinking. Let's know your questions. Is there any question you need answers to? Just post it in the comment section. Like this video, it really goes a long way in encouraging us. Also watch our other videos. We have a dozen and counting videos. Okay, so keep watching these videos, and there are more videos to come. So stay tuned to this channel, subscribe, and stay tuned. Thank you very much. Have a lovely day. Bye.